The Monsters Playbook is an adventure podcast for grown-ups. It contains violence and profanity and deals with adult themes that may be uncomfortable for some listeners. Specific content warnings can be found in the episode's show notes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Monsters Playbook, an actual play Monster of the Week podcast where we might want to consider giving our dice a co-writing credit. So much of what happens depends on them after all, and as we know, they listen, and we wouldn't want to displease the dice. This week on the cover story, we're still fighting fire with fire, but before you can actually fight with fire, you have to make friends with it. And if there's one thing these monster hunters know how to do, it's make some friends. But not everybody is on board with how high above their weight class our heroes seem to be punching. But come on, there's some serious bad guys out there. Somebody's gotta punch them.
I'm John, and I play Mark Clayton.
I'm Lauren, and I play Kira and Anna Ashwood.
I'm Miah, and I play Theo Nessos.
I'm Johnny, I play literally everybody else. Let's punch some bad guys. So that's where we'll pick up here. You guys are all pulling up to the Clockwork Child.
So Kira and Tommy, I think, went to go get the medal, their medallion, but it would be Anna, Lincoln Ramsey, Lowry, I assume Mark, Catrell,
Theo, and Yano.
and Donovan. Yeah, all the regular peeps.
Okay. Lincoln will walk up and unlock the front door with a practiced motion, reach up and stop the bell from dinging as he does so and hold it open for all of you.
Thank you.
I hope you're ready, Lincoln. I've got a spell.
Did you tell Lincoln about the spell that you were doing?
I probably, when I thought up the idea, I think she would have, she wouldn't have paid any attention to what time of night it was and would have been like, you will never believe what I just thought up. And talking to her little necklace thing that she's got.
There would not have been any response.
I'll tell you about it in the morning. Be there.
Okay. You seem ambitious.
Yeah.
Do you need help with that? And I think Mark gestures at the things. I assume you're carrying in ingredients and things like that, or
I think most of the ingredients are probably here.
Okay, never mind.
We would be taking out of probably Kira's car or actually probably Yano's, because Yano's has the truck, right?
Yep.
I suspect we would have had him because in addition to getting the medallion from Dawnbreak, we also would have wanted to grab the insight mirror and bring that with, because that's a little bit bigger, right? So we would have probably brought that over as well. And so I think we're bringing that in, carrying that into the store. But otherwise, everything else I think that she needs, she has here.
Okay. Yeah. I think Mark and Yano probably carry that one in.
Mm-hmm. Do we have some lady's mantle, and she's looking at a piece of paper, some lady's mantle, some violet petals, frankincense resin, and enchanter's nightshade flowers, Lincoln?
You're just rattling off all these things.
She wrote it down.
I know,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking Lincoln is just like, what?
Finally, she read something.
I think he sort of puts some things doing the kind of quality waiter thing of, I'm not going to write this down. I'm just going to keep that running list in my head.
Right.
And then he'll take a few steps towards the back and then sort of come up short and look back at you and be like, interesting. And then just go away and call from, I think, around the corner, how much of each?
A 4th cup of finely chopped lady's mantle, 1 cup of violet petals, 3 pieces of frankincense resin, I'm thinking chicken nugget size resin, and then...
You can say coin.
No, chicken nugget size. And then 9 whole enchanter's nightshade flowers.
Okay. I think that'll take a minute or two to prepare. You will hear some chopping.
Yeah.
Mark, what are you doing? Theo, what are you doing?
I think Mark is just browsing around, looking again at the hats that he once acquired a while ago.
Uh-huh.
And just some of the other knickknacks that he has in the shop and stuff, and just observing them.
Are you looking in for anything in particular, or are you just keeping busy?
Kind of keeping busy, and then also, no. I think he's just kind of keeping busy in here, just kind of waiting for these ingredients to be found and ready to do the spell.
I am anyway going to have you roll investigate a mystery.
I like the idea of coming across something that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
7.
You come across another hat that, for reasons exclusive to the delight of me, is a black hat embroidered in bright green thread. On the front of it, it says Bird Hair Day.
Oh, I totally got to get this. I think Mark grabs it and kind of looks at it a bit, then decides to put it on his head, looks in the mirror, and then looks back at Theo. Huh?
It's like a baseball hat, black baseball cap. Theo, Mark has just put on a baseball cap. And what's your opinion?
Sorry, what? Oh, yeah. It's okay. I mean, if you like it, then...
Well, no, does it look okay? Look, it's got the little bird thing on it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Right. Okay. I think Mark takes it off and sets it back. Mark starts to kind of look at some other things, but then goes back and grabs it and just kind of walks with it.
Theo, as Mark would have turned around to look at himself in, say, a mirror, you can see that on the back, in parentheses, it says, "That means a bird pooped on my hair." Theo, are you doing anything other than browsing as well?
I wouldn't say that Theo is browsing. I think that Theo, I guess, like, just depending on who she's around, she's either kind of like aimlessly like drifting, either like kind of like following Mark a little bit, or maybe like Yana or like Kira. She's not fully like there. She's a little distracted.
Does Mark find any like bracelets or anything in this shop?
Sure, there's bracelets.
Is there any bracelets with like really small stones on them or something like that?
Roll investigate a mystery again. Never over how much Mark Clayton loves to shop.
He is the chronic shopper here.
12.
12.
Advanced
Okay.
move.
Well, you find a couple of things. The first bracelet that you find is like one of these real thick, deep brown leather deals with all kinds of intricate, thick stitching all around that like sort of crisscrosses this big, sort of watch-faced sized, appears to be just a solid emerald gem.
Hey, Theo, come here for a minute.
As Theo is sort of gradually making her way across, you will hear Lowry go, "Mark, check this out." He's digging through some t-shirts and he's found one that has on the back like a screen print of wings. I don't know, is it cool? Could I pull it off?
That's awesome. Get it. I don't know, put it on for a second.
Lowry takes his shirt off.
Anna is mid crushing petals. Is like, what?
I think Mark's like,
So it's definitely way too big on him.
It's a nice shirt.
He starts to like flap the t-shirt sleeves.
He's flapping the wings.
Huh? It's all right.
You're not gonna fly like that.
No, I know, but
It's a little too big. Is there another one in that size?
I don't.
Here, why don't you go look for a second? I have to show Theo something real quick.
Yep, and Theo, you're up by the counter with Mark looking at this leather bracelet.
And I think without Mark saying anything, he just like spins around with this emerald bracelet and just applies it to her wrist. What do you think?
This is cool. It's pretty.
I mean, I couldn't really make a bracelet like this, but I mean, I can get you one.
I feel like Theo's like a little like speechless.
I mean, you made me a bracelet. Maybe you can show me how to make you one eventually, but for right now, like, I don't know. Here's one. Plus, it's got this cool rock on it. Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's cool. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, well, I mean, first I gotta buy it, but...
Yeah, I think Anna walks past and was like, you have to buy that though, right?
I do work here.
I forgot how this shopping thing works.
I have to stop using my discount.
What other things have you bought here?
Theo was about to tell Mark, make sure you get the friend discount, but...
Not anymore.
JK. Do you want me to help you pay for it?
No, I got it.
Okay. Thanks. And she's gonna like take your hand and now be distracted by looking at it.
Hey, that shirt's looking better. Nice.
Cut to Kira and Tommy en route to the Clockwork Child.
I think after they pick up the medal, I think Kira's hasn't really said much like the whole ride. Just kind of quiet, spacing out a little bit.
Is she driving or is he?
I kind of think Tommy.
Yep. Okay. Then he's not going to break the silence.
I think at some point, can we pull off here really quick?
Aren't we? Yeah.
Anna said that it's going to take some time to prep the spell anyway. Just need a little detour.
Sure. To where?
You remember where that one RP that we did a while back, where there was like that camper in the woods or something that Sparks Brothers had? I think it's near wherever that is.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Off into the sort of fringe wilderness?
Yeah.
Something you need to pick up here?
No, it's I think she's kind of like shaking her hands a little bit and is like, I just need I think she takes a deep breath. I'm just a little nervous about this spell. And I don't know, thought we could just go for a walk, maybe.
You don't think it's going to work?
I don't know what to expect.
You're afraid it is going to work.
She makes, like, eye contact with Tommy. Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Click, the door opens. Let's go for a walk.
And she'll take his hand, walk into the woods a bit.
Okay. The gray light is just streaking through the gaps in the trees in the canopy.
I mean, Anna kind of ran me through how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to bring balance, I guess. I don't know what that means, if that means in just access to the powers that she has, or if it means, like, in all things. Does that mean that, like, I'll be different? Will I act different? I don't know.
Is that something magic can do?
I mean, my understanding of magic is that it can do pretty much anything.
Well, now I'm nervous.
Yeah, yeah. It's still gonna be me, though, right?
Of course it is. Anna would never do anything to hurt you on purpose. Besides, you're way too tough to let some novice magic spell change you like that.
Well, I mean, maybe that's kind of the goal, though, to change. I don't understand enough about how it all works, but Ember's part of who I am. Just like Anna technically is part of who I am. If we were to be fused together, even if it's just temporary for a while, I don't know what that does. And I think she, like, kind of takes Tommy's hand. But I don't know. I'll still be me, I think.
I mean, I hope so. You'll always be my favorite, Ashwood.
I think she's just kind of like lazily, like, lean into just, like, him, you know, like, for a hug.
Yeah, he'll throw his huge arm around you.
And I think, like, after a minute, she'll be like, well, we have, and I think she kind of, like, looks at her watch. I've got, like, at least an hour to kill. Panda fireplace.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, she wants to blow off some steam.
Meanwhile, at the Clockwork Child, Monsters Playbook is an adventure podcast for grown-ups. All right, so back at the Clockwork Child, I do just want to point out.
I do think Anna would have, like, at some point after, like, collecting the actual herbs and everything, she would have, like, pulled in Ramsey Lincoln. You said it was Lincoln, right?
It's Lincoln now.
She would have pulled in Lincoln to be like, hey, so this is what I have planned, and kind of like have him check her work.
Okay. Can you have me check your work?
You want to see the whole thing?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Oh shit! Here it is.
So as we idle, as this has been going on, Donovan has been flipping through the records.
Mm-hmm.
Lowry has been looking at T-shirts, finding more and more cool ones. Catrell is trying to stay very still and, like, not even lean against the wall lest she break something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Yano has found the one chair, doing that old man sit where he's got his hands knitted together over his stomach. Aw.
Huh.
You took his rhythms.
I did.
Do we get to see?
No.
After.
Fine.
So he's going to mark it up a little.
Okay.
She's like, I worked so hard on this.
All of his marks and mine are going to be to sort of, before you put this in the book, you're going to want to despecify it.
So that it's not specific to Kira.
Right. Instead of calling out page from Kira's old journal, he just writes symbol of the bond.
Yep.
Instead of Kira, he writes external subject.
It's funny that you say this, because I was literally thinking that this would be, like, if we were to actually put it in the spell book, that's what she would have to do.
Yep.
To make it, like, so it's usable again, not just for this one instance.
Exactly.
I think she's like, okay, that's fine.
Ooh, this is an added wrinkle that I quite enjoy. I don't think I'm going to tell you it, though.
What?
It's confusing to explain, so I'm not going to. And neither is Lincoln. But
How am I going to learn if you don't tell me?
well, what he'll say is,
Oh, for the record, Inako's on her shoulder,
aw,
wrapped around her.
hello again, buddy.
Yeah.
Before you put it in the book, you're going to want it to be in a way that's not just readable, but usable to future magicians. You know, if there's going to be any.
Oh, there will be.
That's the spirit. Scruffy man seems pessimistic.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Did someone spit in his Cheerios?
She kind of scritches Inako. How come you're so cheery today? Talking to Lincoln.
Oh, I thought you were talking to
No.
Inako.
No.
Well, I think Inako also thinking you would have been talking to him, is be like, I have belly full of dead mice. I'm cheery most times.
Oh, not you, bud.
I have achieved all of my to-dos for day.
No. Not you, bud. I think she might actually kind of like take his little face and be like, I'm going to need your help for the spell.
You're asking sarcastically, how come you're so cheery?
Yeah.
Well, then fine. Well, no, roll manipulate someone. Fuck you.
Okay.
Whoa.
Fuck you
Lot of
too,
emotions
Lincoln.
right there.
8.
It's high stakes, Anna. This is, the spell is the most important thing you'll maybe ever do. And if what we're planning to do doesn't work, then it'll affect the spell itself.
What do you mean by that?
We'll tap the book with 2 fingers and go, this is a legacy spell book. You know what that means? It means it grows in power all the people who've used it, and all the people who will use it. The more people yet to come that use this spell you wrote, the more power it will gain throughout history. So you want it to be legible.
I have excellent penmanship, and I'm not going to fuck it up. I think she like looks over at Kira and Tommy, who are probably entering the shop right now. Kira's always been my number 1 job. I won't fuck it up.
You're telling me this has been your number 2 job this whole time?
Hate to break it to you.
I should have guessed.
A close second, though. Can I ask, what's your deal?
You might have to be more specific.
Sometimes you're Lincoln, sometimes you're Ramsey. You seem like you're probably much older than you look. No offense.
Yeah, you got it.
What's your deal? What are you?
Tell you what, you stop the kingdoms from falling down, the end fires from burning the whole world. I'll tell you what my deal is. Call it motivation.
I think she holds out her pinky finger.
Oh my god.
Do you swear?
He will very solemnly grip your pinky in his.
I think she kind of jerks it back before you can do that and be like,
Huh?
yeah, this is solemn oath that you're making.
I don't think Mark has ever seen this interaction before, so he's very intrigued.
Why are they touching the small parts of the hand?
You promise?
Nothing more sacred than a secret. Grip.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to that, boss.
All right. Kira and Tommy arrive, seeming different, and they have the medallions in tow.
And the insight mirror they probably would actually have too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That had been there as well.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think Kira will walk over to where Anna is, and we'll be like, okay, well, we got the medallion and the mirror. What do we need to do next? And Anna will kind of gesture to where I think she's got like an altar set up and the beginnings of like a circle that she's preparing, like a magic circle.
Where would you have this? Like behind the counter, in front of the counter, on like the floor, sales floor?
Where have we done the ritual for Anna?
That I think was honestly either behind the counter or like in the back.
It maybe would be in the back then.
Okay.
And like I feel like we would, when it comes time to do this, we would pull down the
Close sign.
Wasn't we put the close sign on, yes, but like I remember when we did this for Anna, I think there was, or maybe it was when Clara had come, like Lincoln had done something to like basically like shut the shop like magically, kind of like it was like shuttered kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when it comes time to do that, they would do the same thing so that they've got privacy. But yeah, I think probably in the back, so it's kind of away from the main part of the shop. And I think Anna would take the medal from Kira and begin kind of to take some time to actually inscribe a rune in the medal itself, on the medallion itself.
Okay.
And it's the rune that's on that drawing or whatever picture. And so for the listeners, the rune is a bind rune. So it's kind of technically combines 2 different runes together, one of which is kind of meant as a protection rune. And then the other is more of a rune for like heritage and like family and birthright kind of. So it's a combination of those 2 runes. And it actually, if you have our character art, it is the same rune that is on Anna's shotgun in the character art drawing. And so she takes some time kind of etching that in to the medallion itself.
Okay.
This, and I think as she's doing it, she's kind of explaining this to Kira and be like, the rune will act as a kind of a focus, I guess, for the magic. Once I do the spell.
Anna.
Thank you, Lincoln. The rune will act as a focus. It will pull in the magic, the energy that I am sort of gathering, and it will be released into the rune itself. The medallion will sort of be a talisman for you so that you can wield this power temporarily until such a time that maybe it happens permanently, or you guys decide that you want to work together. But that's how it works. And Kira will kind of just nod. Okay, and what do I need to do during this whole thing? And Anna will be like, I'm glad you asked. And so she kind of like points out the circle that is almost complete. She's like, I just have to finish the last little bit of chalk here, and then the circle will be done. But I'm going to have you sit in the center with the mirror facing you, and you're going to be wearing the medallion during this whole thing. I will do a little ritual that's going to, a big ritual that's going to bring your energies into balance. It's, the theme of it, I guess, is kind of duality.
Not I guess.
Thank you. The theme is duality. You guys are one of the same, just two sides of the same coin. So it's acknowledging both sides of that and bringing them into balance. Once I finish the incantation, I will pull the energy, combine it, direct it into the medallion, and then I will give you a signal to put your hand on the mirror at the same time as Ember from within the insight mirror. And that should seal the bond. Oh, and then do you have that a page from that journal that you brought too? Or Kira will be like, yeah, I brought it. Any page. And Anna will say, well, and I think she kind of just like thumbs through it and she's like, I think this one will work. And it's like a picture, I think one of the pictures that you had detailed where it's like all of the different like altars and Ember kind of in the corner. She'll tear that out of the journal.
Okay.
Anna will put her hands on Kira's shoulders. We got this. I've got this. And Kira will kind of nod and look Anna in the eyes.
Lincoln will put his hand on Anna's shoulder and go, by Jove, I think she does.
Shush.
Will the rest of you want to be in the room when this happens?
Big yes.
Only if Kira or Anna wants us to.
Yeah, I think that they're totally fine with you guys being here. They know they want you to be here.
Okay. Yana will go wherever Theo does. Lowry, of course, will be there. Tommy, of course, will be there. Donovan, of course, will be there. Lincoln will be not assisting, but observing. But notably, as you get into the back, Catrell is nowhere to be found.
What?
Can I use tune in to figure out where she is?
You know what? You can use TuneIn to figure out where she is.
I don't like the way that you answered that question, which has me on the fence about how this is going to go.
I know!
12th.
3 questions.
Where is the location of Catriel?
Catriel is seated on the curb in front of the Clockwork Child.
Oh.
Okay. What is she planning to do right now?
Her plan is to stay here until the delicate thing inside is over.
What is her biggest fear?
Herself.
Why?
You're out of questions, Mark.
I had a thought, and maybe this is a little bit too metagame, but it might not be a good idea for Theo to be in here since she's not unscribable. So I think that Theo will leave the room.
Hey, why don't you go check on Catriel? I think she's sitting outside.
Yeah, I'll check on her. I'll see if she wants my company.
Theo, Yano will follow you unless you tell him not to.
I'll be okay.
He's going to wait like sort of behind the counter.
Yeah.
So not in the back, not really in the front.
Yeah, Theo will, I think, open the front door, and then I'm guessing I'll see Catrell out there.
You sure will. Sitting on the curb, as small as she can make herself.
Want some company?
Her face like darts around to look at you, and I think she just has like, red circles around her eyes, kind of. Not afraid of getting stabbed. And hugs her knees a little bit.
Theo will sit down on the curb next to her, but with like kind of enough space to make sure that Catrell's comfortable still.
Okay.
You look how I feel.
How do I look?
Scared.
Then I think I look how I feel too. It's different for the rest of you, I think. You've had like time to figure out yourselves and bodies and your bosses and who's in charge of you and decisions. I think I just never got to get strong enough, and that's why I couldn't stop him.
Some of us don't take as long as others. Some of us take a lot longer to figure out life. You're not alone.
I know, but probably should be.
Theo's gonna... Oh, she's not used to being big sister.
But she's seen other people do it a lot, and she's learned from the best.
Oh. Theo's gonna, squeeze her shoulder.
She'll, flinch, but then settle into it.
then kind of move to like almost clock motion on like her back.
Okay.
Just like trying to be soothing.
Yep. Would you roll manipulate someone for me, please?
Ooh, a 13. Advanced move.
I think as you sort of are rubbing her back, you can like feel it unclench. It feels like nothing good has happened to you guys since I came along.
Sure there has. Mark made a new friend. You made several new friends. You've got to try a bunch of new things like pizza and slushies and bowling. You went on that date with Anna and Lowry.
That was a date?
Well, between Anna and Lowry, but...
Oh my god.
Those are several good things. Now, I know you're used to looking down on things like with like, you know, when you're flying, but when you're on the ground, it's always a lot easier to look up at the mountains that surround you. But you gotta remember that from those mountains comes rocks, and from those rocks there are pebbles.
Comes Mark.
So you gotta remember all of the good small things, not the big huge thing that you're trying to accomplish or do. Because if you keep looking up at that mountain, you're just gonna fail constantly. I know how you feel because I've been there.
You stabbed Mark in the back with a spear?
Not with a spear, but with magic. There have been times that my magic hasn't behaved, and I've hurt Mark and Anna and Kira and those around us, and I almost gave up my magic. Sometimes I still think about doing that.
Why don't you?
I feel like saying I'm good at it is a bad excuse.
You are really good at it.
I think I don't because I'm still learning. Still learning to use it, still learning how to use it.
Still looking at pebbles. Still gathering pebbles? I think I understand.
You're still learning how to use this spear, and you're still learning how to be here instead of there.
I'm still learning all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, Theo, but I don't know a lot of stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
You could have fooled me.
Like, I don't even know how much I don't know.
Well, if you leave us, how are we going to find out? How are we going to help you?
You guys have other stuff to do. You shouldn't have to help me.
But we want to help you.
But your stuff is so important, and it's so big, and...
Ketrel, you're important. You're important to Mark. You're important to Kira. You're important to Anna. And you're important to me. When the Stark King took hold of you, we stepped in to protect you because we care about you. Not just that, but we love you.
So her hair, which had been this like sort of choppy black so-and-so, which hasn't been getting cut this whole time you've known her, and is therefore like one half dyed super dark black and one half like pretty dirty blonde, I think, is like covering her face like a shroud. Do you mean it?
I wouldn't lie to you. Of course we do.
So I'm not like a bad luck charm?
No. Here, let me prove it to you. Theo is going to take off the old leather bracelet that she originally gave to Mark way back in Duluth, but then she like traded it and now she had it. But now, hopefully, with this new bracelet that Mark just got Theo, so he's going to take it off. She's going to point to Ketrel's wrist.
She'll just like hold it up almost on as if on automatically.
Theo is going to slide the bracelet on and like tie it so that it fits her wrist. Now, this bracelet means a lot to me. And now you have it because you mean a lot to us. I made this bracelet over a year ago to protect Mark. And I know that you protect Mark. And this bracelet has pieces of me and pieces of Mark in it. So you're never going to be alone. But just know whenever you look down at it, we care about you.
So I think the next thing that is going to happen to you is that it is going to feel as though you have been slammed into by a huge gust of wind. And you have Ketrel's arms wrapped around your neck. And she has tackled you into a helpless kind of hug.
Theo will like laugh, hug back. There's so much for you to learn. Have you heard of rock, paper, scissors?
I think she'll like pull her head back and like shake her hair out of her face and just look at you and go, "Is that a band?" Meanwhile, inside, Mark, through your ambient connection with, I think, Theo and with Ketrel, I don't think you really get a lot of the specifics unless you want to go looking for it, which they'll know about. but things are okay out there.
That's kind of the vibe I was thinking. Okay.
She's not dangerous or in danger, and Theo's with her. Yeah, what are you doing, Mark, Kira, Anna?
I'm fixated on the situation at hand.
If there's any light in here currently, it is very dim indeed.
It's just from his eyes.
Yep,
Well,
all the blinds are drawn.
All the blinds are drawn. I think. I mean, the brazier is like lit to like get the coals, going. So I think there are some like dim embers coming from the brazier, but otherwise, I think most of the lights, like all the lights are off. I think Anna will finish kind of setting up the altar. There will be a black candle set up on the left side, and then a white on the right side of the altar. And then in the center, there will be a brazier that is lit up, and with some herbs nearby to be tossed in.
Okay.
Well, I just need to draw this, and then we can start the actual ritual. Is there anything you wanted to do before we start, or do you want to just start? Kira takes in a deep breath. Kind of looks at Tommy and looks at Donovan. Mark
nods.
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
As you say that, Theo, you are sort of explaining. So is it 1, 2, shoot? 1, 2, 3, shoot? Angular black town car pulls up and parks across the street. All the windows seem blacked out. Out of the driver's seat will step a sort of early middle-aged man with a mustache. The passenger seat will step a young woman. Back seat will step a 10-year-old boy and a very tall blonde man. And they will all just lean expectantly against their car and wait. I don't think they'll even look at you unless you draw attention to yourself.
Do I recognize them?
Do you?
Is this the Invisible Family?
It is.
She was there. Well, you met Uncle. I know that.
I think I've only met Uncle because we've only really dealt with the Invisible Family towards the beginning of season 2.
Oh, no. She has.
When?
Has. Season 3, when we got back from there, they were in Rex Crook's office.
Okay. Yep. That tracks. I will say hand wave for now. Mom, for sure you recognize. It's a very distinctive mustache.
Okay.
Do you do anything outside? Say anything or go back in maybe? Stand your ground? Staring contest?
Yeah, Theo's just gonna, I think, just stand her ground. I don't know them as well as the rest do. And Theo is not, I don't want to say aware, but like knows that like whatever Anna is doing is big magic. So it shouldn't be interrupted. So yeah, if they make any move, I think Theo will intervene.
Okay. So I think what I want to do, Anna, for maximum drama.
Oh boy.
I want you to make 2 rolls to do this ritual for me.
Okay.
I want you to roll, and before you do either of them, I want to tell you the entire thing because this is going to be unusual and extra dramatic. I want you to roll Act Under Pressure to have drawn the circle correctly and set everything up right.
Okay.
And then I will want you to, as you are doing the incantation, roll Use Magic to pull off the gathering and movement of energy correctly. But I don't want you to say either roll aloud. I want you to send them to me privately in the Zoom chat.
Okay. Question. Do I get a +1 for my magic because this is using my spell book?
This isn't using... Well, actually...
Because it would have to be inscribed in the spell book, right? In order to actually use it?
Yes, and because of the thing I said.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
From mages past and present. And future. Okay. So I think as you make the last line connect in the circle, the chalk itself takes on, if not metallic, then at least a more reflective kind of sheen, like it's kicking back the light from the fire in some energy type way.
Okay, so she does that to the circle.
Finish off the chalk, and that happens. You've inscribed the protection rune upon the medallion. You've placed the candles. You've lit the brazier.
Just done that. Just got the altar ready. I think Kira's sitting inside the circle already with the mirror. All right, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Well, then Anna's gonna add the different herbs to the brazier one by one.
I think Tommy and Donovan will look at each other and nod curtly, and then both look back at Kira.
And then once I think the room starts to get kind of like fragrant with the smell of all the herbs, then Anna will begin with the incantation. I see a fire burning bright in the darkness, and she lights the white candle, and I see a shadow embracing the flames. She lights the black candle. They stand as opposing forces, yet neither can exist alone. She pulls out the page from Kira's journal. I see the bonds of this duality, unshakable and true, shared power, memories, and pain, reverberating through time. Sister flames, two parts of the same soul. She slowly adds the page, lights the edge of it, and drops it into the brazier. I see them forged together in unity, so that they may know and understand each other and be restored as one again. And then she'll extend both of her hands, one towards the white candle, one towards the black candle, and sort of draw the energy from each of the candles and kind of pulls the light into the palms of her hands.
And it is like a sort of flow of almost water that the candles themselves grow and spread towards her outstretched hands.
Until they're both just kind of these glowing like orbs of light. And then she slowly will bring the two orbs together until they kind of merge into one, like a gleaming ball of fire.
At which point they take on a very harsh red light.
She kind of just holds it there for a moment. She will slowly kind of turn her hands and push the energy out and towards the medallion that Kira is wearing.
And as it passes through the smoke from the brazier itself, it will sort of direct itself from a ball into a more kind of focused, almost beam. The harshness of the red will fade somewhat, and then it will, as though it's been being held back from doing it this whole time, start to be pulled into the medallion itself.
Yeah, and I sort of imagine that protection rune actually kind of glows.
Absolutely.
With the energy kind of pulses. And I think as the last of it pools into the medallion, Anna looks up at Kira and says, "Now." And then Kira, I assume kind of looking out and seeing the image of Ember on the other side, will outstretch her hand and put it against the mirror in tandem with Ember.
Well, at this point, Kira Ashwood, I need you to roll manipulate someone.
Do you want me to tell you the result? Or do you want me to message you?
I want you to message me, and then I'll tell you what happens. At first, Kira touches the insight mirror. As she's doing that, all of the rest of the energy from that ball of flame kind of goes into the medallion, and actually both candles snuff out. And at first, nothing really happens, but after a moment, the mirror sort of erupts in light, like it's a spotlight that's just been turned on. And with all the smoke in this room, you can very clearly see the edges of this beam, like enveloping and surrounding Kira within it. And there is a kind of whooshing of energy, and then the beam itself like shrinks and condenses and focuses until it too is just a single line from the mirror into the medallion. And Kira, you can see that line coming out of that mirror hits you right at the medallion in the center of your chest, and it also hits Ember in the same place. All of you see Kira throw her head back, and like a burst of flames comes out of both of her eyes. And then as you look back at the mirror, slightly exhausted, you see yourself in it, Kira, looking different.
She kind of looks around the room, looks down at herself, making sure that she's like all still there.
Mark's eyes are like huge in his non-existent eyes. And he's just like, did it work?
I think so.
Tommy goes, "How can you be sure?" And he like steps forward, but takes care not to break the circle.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask, Jonny, like how do I feel? Like could I don't know what kind of roll this would be, but could I kind of do like an internal check?
I would have it be a weird roll.
Ooh. Double sixes. 15.
Okay.
Well, it's magic. It's advanced.
I think that makes sense. I think you like check in with yourself physically, mentally. Yeah, the first thing is you are aware that you have fountains of power at your fingertips. You feel like anything you want to happen just would. The second thing you feel is like a sort of foreign feeling sense of annoyance. Like you're annoyed with something, but you don't know what it is. But then you sort of start to understand that's not you. This is limiting.
In her head, she's kind of just like, this was the point of the spell, though. This was to put us in the balance. I mean, you might see it as limiting, but this is it's the most power I've ever had.
And this is the least able I've ever felt to use it.
Well, maybe we should see what we can do. I think Kira, when Tommy says, how do you know? Can Kira just like try to create something from shadow? Like maybe another little like shadow fox to join Inako that's like maybe curled up on a chair nearby?
No, but use magic.
8.
Pick a glitch.
I'm going to say it draws immediate unwanted attention.
I hoped you would say that.
Family is outside after all.
So you hold out your hand as though you have glitter in it and then blow out this like at first sort of deep crimson smoke that then I guess solidifies or sublimates into like a fire, but not an out of control flame. Again, like a flowing of energy like happened from the candles to Anna's hands that forms itself into a fox mid jump that does land. And then there is, built out of fire, a little fox walking around inside the circle.
Cute.
Theo,
Yeah.
the 4 people leaning against the car, snap into action and start to rush past you into the store.
I want to stop them.
Well, how?
I guess I'm going to use magic to create a force field in front of the shop.
Roll it.
10.
So you like make a sort of wall of force in between them and the store
Yeah.
and you.
And Ketra.
So as they're walking forward, basically stoically and with purpose, Dad will shoot Mom a glance and then she'll like hold out her hands towards the wall and you will see a hole start to build in the middle of it, which will very quickly spread.
I'm going to then use a force of will to dispel that magical effect. Or blocking. I can dispel magical effect, block a spell, or suspend a phenomenon.
Okay. Well, it is a phenomenon.
Specifically her, not the wall.
No, I know. But what she's doing to the wall is not a spell.
That's gonna be a 9. So I'm going to take 1 harm.
Is that what that does?
Because that's force of will, yeah. On a 7 to 9, you take 1 harm. But momentary magics are suspended.
I do want to pull like Catrell up and like kind of behind me so that she's between me and the Clockwork Child. And I want Theo to stand and face the invisible family. Hi, I'm Theo Nessos. Can I help you guys? I think we've met in passing.
We need to get in there, Theo Nessos.
Oh, I'm sorry, what for? They're actually closed.
You and I both know they're not, says Dad, and she like looks just with her eyes over at Kid.
Oh, well, there are plenty of capable people inside that can take care of whatever you're worried about.
Kid, the little boy, is like jumping from foot to foot, like eagerly, and Dad looks at him and she goes, fine. And he goes, yes. And then basically unspools a slinky that's being pulled up and then down on the other side of your wall.
He just hopped over it.
Yep. And then he looks at you and he sticks his tongue out and then he runs through the door. But he doesn't open the door. He just runs through it. Like slips inside. Anna, Lincoln's eyes dart to the front of the store. And he looks at you, holds up a hand, and then leaves the room. Inako, for his part, is like doing the paw dance with this fire thing where they're like pawing each other's paws.
Huh. Can I leave this circle, Anna? Yeah, if the spell's done, should be good. I think she might kind of just like, I think maybe she's got some sort of like thing that like dampens the brazier.
Yeah,
that,
like a lid.
Yeah, and puts that on.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Theo.
Can I make a retcon suggestion?
Okay.
So I have an arcane reputation with the invisible family.
Okay.
Is it possible that me telling them like there are capable people inside that could manipulate them, like I will roll for it, but manipulate them to believe me or like, I don't know.
Well, Kid is already getting inside.
Yeah, I know.
I will allow you to tell them why they should let what's happening in there continue to happen. And then between that and the roll you make will dictate whether they listen to you.
I think Theo kind of like whips like around, like, hey, tries to grab for kid, but then obviously can't. And he goes to the door. Theo whips back around. Okay, I get it. You guys supposedly have a good relationship with Kira and Mark and Anna. You should be trusting them. They're working on a really difficult spell, and I'd be afraid of what would happen if you're interrupting it and ruining it.
Okay, now roll.
8.
Spell can't be interrupted, Nessos. It's already done. And something's leaking out. That's what we're here to stop, okay? If it went so fine in there, let us go in and make sure. Uncle will sort of give you a plaintive look. We don't want to fight you either.
I mean, to be fair, one of you have already gone in. Don't really need 4 of you to be checking in on one thing.
Well, Kid isn't exactly our investigator.
I feel like in Theo's head, she's just like, neither am I.
Speaking of which, the rest of you inside the sort of spell room can hear the occasional grunts of a middle-aged Italian man, what seem to sound like sort of the zing of some sort of magical spell flying around, and then the giggles of an 11-year-old boy.
Do we recognize who that is right away?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I think Anna kind of cocks her head and is like, is that who I think it is?
It's Kid. They must have heard what we were doing.
I think Kira kind of cocks her head in that direction and is like, well, they don't come anywhere unless they're told. Let's see what they want.
Anna, Inigo's paw is on fire.
No! I think she notices it and she's like, hey, no!
She's like trying to lick it and paw it out, and it's not going out.
She's got some ice magic. I think she would kind of use to maybe like chill it off if she could.
Roll it.
I think Mark is going to roll and help out since he's a fire guy and he sees this happening.
I'll allow it.
I rolled an 11.
8.
I was really hoping you would say that, Mark.
It was a 12, which makes mine an advanced move.
Okay. And Mark, you like reach out to this fire, and some from Inigo's paw, some from the sort of Firefox. Oh my god.
That's
some
what
from
it's
the
called.
Firefox paw flies out like 2 little marbles flying through the air. And yeah, they both launch themselves through your sunglasses and into your eyes.
Wait, what?
Just get some extra fire in your eyes.
Yeah, you pulled away some of the fire to help out, and you rolled an 8, so it's in you now.
Do I feel different, Johnny?
Yeah, you feel like a fever coming on.
Oh boy. I think Mark starts flailing his hands.
You don't feel, to be clear, you don't feel like you're starting on fire. You feel like
Warm.
Okay.
Just warm.
a fever
Never mind.
coming on.
Extra warm.
I mean, don't not freak out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Mark is still going, oh my god, what just happened? Kira?
Can I tell, like, is there a way to, like, subdue the flames more, or would I just have to dispel this fox, like, entirely?
You would have to pull it back into yourself.
Okay, I think she would try to do that. And be like, let me see if this will work. And I think she's just gonna kind of outstretch a hand and, like, kind of just pull towards her and see if it will come into, like, her hand.
Roll use magic.
10.
Yeah, you, like, reach out your hand, and the Firefox sort of turns at you and looks at you with its candlelight eyes, and will bring its head over to your outstretched palm and, like, rest its chin. It will do the act of its being created in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
It will, like, pull itself back into your hand like dust, and then the dust will just get inhaled back into your mouth.
How does Mark have those? Is it still in Mark, or is it
Nothing came out of Mark.
okay?
Do I still feel feverish?
Yeah.
I don't feel well.
Will you let me take a look?
I think you'll hear an 11-year-old boy's voice come from the next room that says, "That's because you got the end of the world in you, bud."
Shut up, kid. Also, what do you mean?
Woo!
Oh my god.
What's inside of me?
It's fine. And I think Kira says it a little more harshly than she intended to. Just hold still, Mark. Look very closely at Mark's eyes. And I think she wants to, like, focus on, like, maybe, like, the pieces of it that burn a little bit brighter than normal and see if she can just coax them out.
This is going to be a manipulate someone roll.
Wait, that sparkle was for Theo.
Oh my god, I have a girlfriend. So that is a 14 advanced move.
With an advanced move, I think that means I don't have to make it uncomfortably intimate, so I won't.
Good. We both have significant others.
Then you know what? Yeah. Here's what happens.
Do you trust me, Clayton?
I think he's about to say no. And then he's like, yes.
So Kira, if she doesn't already, Kira takes Mark's head in both of her hands and draws him in to kiss him on the forehead.
Oh, okay.
And then the other people in this room can see as though like it's traveling from his neck through his face, these two little like laser pointer dots pushing and like shoving the innards of his face as they go by to meet in the center of his forehead and be reabsorbed into Kira.
Oh, God.
How does this feel? Does it feel like iodine test or something like that, where you can like feel it going through your veins? Like,
I don't know what that feels like, but yes, it feels like something is being pulled through your skin.
I feel like mummy vibes.
Yeah, I was going to say like the mummy.
Yeah, with like the fucking...
the scarabs. Yeah. That's instantly what I thought of too.
Isn't that movie like 20 years old?
Yeah, and I have it on VHS.
Like something hot being pulled through your cheeks and temple and forehead, and you can feel every millimeter of its movement.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's gone.
what did you just pull out of me?
Parts of myself, I suppose. Don't be weird about it.
It would have been a blessing if you'd let me stay.
Why is that? You want to spread?
Yes, Kira. I want to spread.
Well, maybe we go somewhere where we can do that. We do have to retrieve an eye after all.
This might just work out.
I think Kira kind of like doesn't even think about it, but I think she kind of just like shifts like her body kind of like almost as if she's like stretching.
Satisfied?
Kind of like, or like she's like
Feeling herself?
like stretching her muscles. Like
Vibing.
no, like she's shifting internally. Like she kind of is like adjusting and like accommodating Ember.
Theo,
Yes.
they've asked you nicely.
Yep.
Has Lincoln, because Lincoln had gone to investigate, does Lincoln appear at any point, or what happened with Lincoln?
Lincoln's in there dealing with Kid.
Okay.
Theo is going to say, Kira trusts you, so don't hurt her. And she will drop the wall.
I don't think they'll say anything to you at all after you drop the wall. They'll just summarily walk in. I think Uncle will mouth the words, "Thank you," as he walks in.
Theo grabs Ketchell's hand and kind of squeezes, kind of trying to reassure the two of us.
Aw.
And Ketchell goes, "I can't tell if they're bad or not."
You know, same.
I think Mom has a hand on his gun, but he doesn't draw it exactly. So they'll walk in, and the rest of you will hear first from the main room of the Clockwork Child a single sharp whistle, and then a little boy go, "Aw," and then all the other action in that room stops. And the lights in that room come on. They're still low because they're always quite low and almost candlelit ambiance to the record store part, but they had been often closed before.
Can I ask Ketchell, do you feel comfortable coming back inside?
I think I have to.
Okay. Without letting go of Ketchell's hand, like the two of them go inside.
Okay.
Is Yano okay?
He seems more annoyed than anything else.
Okay. He doesn't seem hurt.
No, he is, as you walk in, he is freeing himself from a net made out of leopard print caftans.
Okay.
And he's just like throwing them aside and hurling them down and straightening his shirt and staring daggers at this little boy. And then all of you in the room hear, "Kira Ashwood, we know what you're doing in there."
Is this Dad talking?
It's Dad.
I think Kira kind of just like looks towards the door. Great. The family's come. Look around at everybody else that's in the room. Should we go talk to them?
I think everyone will kind of nod, but Iniko will crawl back up onto Anna's shoulder, licking his singed paw.
Yeah. Sorry, bud.
And Donovan will go out in front of you.
In front of Kira?
Yeah, in front of everybody. Like first.
Okay. Kira will walk out to join him.
Mm-hmm.
Mark is close behind.
If Theo can catch Kira's eyes, she's gonna mouth, "I'm sorry."
I think she kind of just like nods, like, or kind of shakes her head, like, don't worry about it.
There's not a lot that could stop these people from doing what they want.
I think she kind of just looks at Dad and is like, and what exactly can I do for you today, Dad?
Did it work?
I'm going to just assume you know what's happening. Yeah, it worked.
For how long?
The spell is temporary. It's meant to be a springboard. Try to test out this connection, see if it's even achievable. And until hopefully we can do it more permanently. Bring balance. Wasn't it you who suggested that I should claim the power for myself? Power's power, right?
Not all power.
I'm just following your advice. What can I help you with? Am I an immediate threat?
It matters what you do with this. To everything. There's power and then there's power. Okay?
I'm aware.
No, I don't think you are.
I think Kira marches right up to Dad until she's like standing like 6 inches in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
Don't lecture me on the responsibilities of this power. It has been weighing on me for the past 29 years of my life.
It's been weighing on me.
Yeah, let's not forget who summoned this power here in the first place.
Why do you think I'm here? All of this is my responsibility.
And it is my power to wield. So let me wield it with fucking responsibility or whatever. Other people want to get their fucking mitts on it. Do you want those people to have it?
That depends. What are you going to do with it? No, I don't think you hear it. I think you say it. You say...
Are you just going to keep talking about me like I'm not even here? We do share a body after all.
Oh, good.
I think Kira kind of shakes her head a little bit. She's right. She is here. With me. The power is immense. I don't know what I can even do. I don't know what the limits are. I don't feel like there is any, honestly. But as much as it can destroy, it can also create.
Is that what she says?
She wants to spread.
Of course she does. She's a wildfire.
Wildfires can sometimes lead to growth, can't they? Besides, we have business to take care of there.
I want you to roll manipulate someone.
Can I also roll read a bad situation with opening up my third eye?
Yeah, sure.
10 to manipulate someone.
Okay. She's like repetitively tapping a hand against her knee and kind of looking off to one side. And behind her, you hear Mom go, "She's a person, Dad." I know. She's okay. I think you should let Grandma and Grandpa take a look at you. But I won't force you to do anything.
What would looking at me accomplish?
It's just what I think we should do.
What exactly do you want to do with this power? Take me out of the scenario.
I'm going to need you to roll manipulate someone one more time.
9.
You should never have been in the scenario. This power should never have been here. I want to do what I should have done at the time. I want to send it back where it came from.
That's just delaying things for some date far off in the future.
Then we'll put out that fire when we come to it.
You're out of your depth. You don't actually have a solution. Your solution is we'll deal with it later. This, and I think she kind of just like holds out her hands. This is the solution. Actually using this power for something good. Not stowing it away for later. To fester.
If I send it back to the future, I'm not just going to sit on my hands, kid. All we do is get better at this. If we can't solve a problem now, we get smart enough so we can. If you think you know better than I will in 100 years, then we'll step back.
I'm not as conceited as all of that. I'll talk with Grandma and Grandpa after we go to there. We have business to do.
So do we. And she'll spin around and everybody else will follow her.
Can I ask my questions?
Yes, you can. What did you roll?
I rolled a 13 advanced move.
Okay.
Anyways, so my first question is Kira leaking and stable?
Leaking and what do you mean by
leaking or stable? So like when Theo encountered Dad made the claim that whatever they were doing inside, it's leaking.
Oh, what she was referring to was the sort of setting of the fox-shaped fire that Kira had done. That was the primal fire, solo and on its own, out and about.
Okay.
And I do want to tell you, though, when you look at them with your third eye...
Them as in...
Everybody, I'll tell you what they all look like. Kira and the Invisible Family. First of all, the easiest one, as I can tell you, is that Uncle, you see him as the sense you get is that this is a basically warrior monk or like warrior priest. And I will tell you now that he is sort of recently newly young. You can see a connection he has to someone else outside of the family that is sustaining him. Mom, you can see dozens of sort of floaty, somewhere between spider silk and the arcing of an electrical connection, connecting him to basically somewhere around everybody's pockets and like the POS system out front. Dad is haunted. Like the sense you get from her kind of echoes what I'm about to describe going on with Kira, that there's a weight on her. Dark and smoky, but also all too substantial. The thing that keeps her grounded also is pulling her down. It's like a physical shadow draped over her.
What about kid?
Kid's a kid, and he, not his physical body, but his, like, astral form, look at you and wink a third eye of his own. And Kira looks like an angel of fire and shadow. Even though she doesn't have her wings out, to you, she does. And they flow in waves of darkness and searing light. And all around her body is swirling this kind of heat vortex that actually, I think, does seem to pool itself, at least from where you're sitting, into a kind of flaming halo.
Okay.
I want to see that fine art. That sounds cool.
You got 2 more questions.
No, I get 3 more questions because I get a additional hold with third eye.
So you
All
do.
Fine. That sounds true. Keep making me talk.
Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
There's no dangers here that you haven't noticed.
If you won't answer this next one, I have an alternative. Is there something that Dad isn't saying about the situation? You can say, like, Theo wouldn't know or can't tell. Like, that's an acceptable answer, and I'll ask a different question.
Will you ask your last question and let me think about it?
Sure.
Because there is something that you could get.
Okay. Best way to protect Kira if she's in trouble. Like, if shit hits the fan, I don't know. I just wonder, like,
From what?
If what's going on, if it, like, self-destructs or whatever. I just want to know what's the best way to protect Kira.
Repeat the follow-up question. Protect Kira from what?
Ember?
Kill her. If it seems like Ember is going to become a threat to Kira, you're going to have to kill Kira.
Okay.
I'm fine.
But the answer to what's the best way to protect Kira from anything else? She's fine.
Are you going to answer the other question?
I think I will. The thing that Dad is concealing is that she is pretty sure she now has adequate control of her powers to do that thing that she was talking about before. To send Ember et al. Back where she came from.
That Dad can send Embers back?
Dad could send Ember back where she came from, and Kira and Ruth and McCleary and the wolf, and I think there's a little girl in there too, would go with her.
Okay. I have a non-third eye question. Would Theo be able to, like, run after the invisible family and catch Dad? I want to talk to her.
You'd be able to run after them because they're just walking at normal, if extremely brisk and athletic pace. But if you want them to stop, that'll be a manipulate someone roll.
Ooh, I have a +1 to manipulate the family. Hell yeah. That makes it a 10.
After years of not being able to use this bonus.
I'm going to just get it all out. The invisible family leaves. I'm going to just go talk to them again so I can use this roll again.
I think I did math right there.
How did you call out to them, and who are you trying to stop? Do you want to talk to all of them?
I want to talk to Dad, but I think Theo's going to say, hey, excuse me, do you have a minute? Dad? Or I'm sorry, are you Mom? It's really confusing.
They are all at the car, and they all look to Dad, who I think is now at the driver's seat, and therefore her back is to you. And you can see Mom roll his eyes, but both Uncle and Kate are just looking at her very expectantly, move her head from side to side, and then nod once curtly, and then spin around. The other 3 will get in the car. She will cross the street again. You got 2 minutes. And I, at this point, find it necessary to, because I don't think I maybe ever have, describe Dad for you. Yeah, I think she's about 2 inches shorter than you, about 5'5".
Well, Theo's 5'8".
Oh, excuse me.
2 to 3 inches shorter than
3
you.
inches
Yeah.
shorter than you.
Math matters. We're a dice rolling game.
Especially to a 5'8" girl. That inch, I think. I see it. Her hair is a kind of dull brunette, pulled unceremoniously back into a ponytail.
How much does she look like Mark?
Because she's your sister.
Siblings.
I mean, you can see it if you're really looking for it. I think it's the nose. I think it's the same like tall, narrow nose. The nose and the cheekbones, or the jawline more like. The eyes are different. The mouth is different. And yeah, she dresses in the same style as the rest of the Invisible family, which is to say, largely similar black suits with white shirts, but sort of customized around the central area. So her, both shirt and jacket have no collar nor lapel, and flatly around the neck. She crosses her arms and leans back on one of her legs. You have 2 minutes.
Okay. I think Theo, for 10 seconds is trying to figure out which words to say, and then just kind of unceremoniously just blurts out, "You can't send her back."
Excuse me?
You can't send Kira back. Not that you're unable to or not powerful enough, but you shouldn't.
Okay.
You're the Invisible family, right? You, from what I understand, from what Mark and Kira have sort of mentioned about you, you don't have anything left. You just have the 4 of you. You don't have a family, technically. Well, if you sent Kira away, you'd be taking her away from her family and her family away from her. I'm guessing you've had years to get used to being part of the Invisible family, but you must remember what it might have felt like being taken away from your family.
Are you done?
I mean, I had another question, but
Then ask it.
Theo's gonna straighten up, and I feel like instead of the almost little insecure kid that she was sort of acting as, what is this black smoke that is holding you down?
Excuse me?
Well, it keeps you grounded, but it also is weighing you down. It's what's sustaining you. Is it anything like Ember?
I think she'll fully take a step towards you. That is what I get instead of a family.
I can see it haunting you. I've seen it in Kira. I mean, that makes sense. You're the one that brought her here, right? You feel responsible.
Your friend, Kira,
She's not my friend. She's my sister.
she brought herself here. What I did started primal and became a person. If it was just power, that'd be one thing. I won't send her where you think I'm going to send her.
Where are you going to send her?
I'm not, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, then you should have said that.
It's hard to explain. What I mean is, Kira doesn't belong in the place that I pulled Ember from. But if I don't have a choice, then I won't have a choice. Do you understand? It's a line, Theora.
It's Theo.
I understand that's what your friends call you.
Theora is what my family calls me.
Aha. It's a line, Theo. I don't want to cross it, but I will. If I'm weighing the scales between her and everyone, you know where I'm going to tip those scales. I don't want to have to make that choice. I don't want to have to cross that line.
I don't want to make you cross that line. Would it help if we told you what our plan is?
We have a plan. I don't even have a plan.
I mean, it's not very clear or straightforward plan, but I think we have a plan. I mean, Kira's great at making plans.
Yeah, your plan is to do magical therapy.
What?
Your little role-playing hacks. You want to give them practice at being friends.
That's part 1 of the plan, Dad. Come on.
Hold on. Do you know what there is?
She will lean back and sort of recross her arms. Enlighten me.
Well, it's a little bit complicated, but there has had 3 kings. Now they have 2 kings, and one of the kings is wanting to end there as well as everything else outside of it, and we're trying to stop it.
And that's what your little basement kumbaya was about?
I honestly don't know, because...
You want to kill the offending king?
No, we're not going to kill him. We're going to stop him. There's a difference.
You might find that there's not.
Well, I'm going to try.
Of course you are.
Well, I hope I don't have to see you again, Dad.
As she's turning around, she'll go, "Feelings mutual, Nessos." And she'll get to the door, put a hand on the handle, and call back across the street, "Oh, and you're wrong about one thing."
Yeah?
And she'll turn over her shoulder and go, "There's still 3 kings." And she'll open the door and climb inside and drive away.
Leo's gonna, put her hands in her pockets and I think kind of smirk to herself and watch the car drive away.
Aw, don't you guys just love magical therapy? I'm so glad that, Kira just could get in touch with her inner demon. It's wonderful. Don't you think so, Miah?
Yeah, everyone should take a minute to have a conversation with their inner demons,
Absolutely. Miah, I think you have some announcement for us.
I do have some announcements. So here is what is coming up. First things first, for the folks over on our Patreon, we've got a brand new episode of House of Graves that released today. It's out. It's ready for you. Take a listen. And then, as usual, our next episode of the cover story will be available in 2 weeks from now on June 18th. And Lauren, there are reminders, aren't there?
All sorts of reminders. Of course, if you'd like to support the show, there are so many ways that you guys can help us out. First of all, you can leave us a rating and review. We love getting ratings and reviews and hearing, what you guys think about the show, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever your listening platform of choice is. It's really great and it really helps our show get noticed. And make sure to tell your friends about us. You can also follow us on social media if you'd like to connect with us. We are on Twitter at Monster Playbook and everywhere else at Monsters Playbook. You can also support us monetarily by subscribing to our Patreon, where we have exclusive bonus episodes, subscriber-only swag, and some wonderful bloopers for our Dockers' highlights. And we also have our merch store and Ko-fi page, which are a great place to support us as well. And if you want to just kind of hang out and chill with us, you can always join our Discord if you haven't already. It's a really chill place. We talk about our game. We talk about other games. Sometimes we do game nights. And there are links to all of these things and more in our Direct Me profile, which can be found in this episode's show notes.
And this week, we have a very special promo for an actual play Monster of the Week podcast. Friend of the show, Faye, they have a new podcast called Of Monsters and Mixed Successes. Set in the small town of Faro, Iowa, the hunters fight to protect their town from the encroaching eldritch forces that seem to have a vested interest in its destruction. Let's take a listen.
The small town of Faro is strange, filled with monsters, magic, and entities unknown to all but a few residents. Join local priest Leviathan Bell.
Any threat to the divine and to this town is to be taken care of, and that's my duty.
Ex-monster hunter Alex Palmer.
I'm not paranoid enough to stop being curious. Fine. He takes the hand. Oh shit, I'm in over my head.
And haunted archivist Anna Malice.
It's Anna's turn to have a bad day. Opening his little satchel, and he's taking his notebook out, and he's opening it to the page where he sketched the boulder go.
As they step up to try their best to protect their town and its people from entities that want to lay claim over it. Every other Wednesday, come take a seat at our table, where there are monsters aplenty.
Where these eyes should be are just concave pits of flat flesh.
We're all a little bit silly.
That awkward moment when you just want to read some books and then your friends start having a fight about your free will.
And our characters are very, very sad.
I really appreciated and cherished having friends.
Of Monsters and Mixed Successes is available on YouTube and most podcasting platforms.
And as you raise your hand to start to do this magic, he shoots you. Yes.
Oh no.
You can learn more about of monsters and mixed successes on their Linktree, which you can find in this episode's show notes. All right, Miah, let's get back to the magical therapy and sadness and excitement and all sorts of things.
It'll get better, right?
Of course. Bye.
Bye. Bye. I have a question for Mark/John, and Lauren. Would Theo know that Dad is Mark's sister? Would you guys have told Theo?
I feel like I would. No, I wouldn't have, actually. I don't tell anybody anything. We already know this.
Kira or Anna, would you have told Theo?
If anything, it would have, if it came about in passing, it would have been like Anna being like, oh, you know, fucking Mark's bitch of a sister.
If I may, Kira would have decided that that wasn't her secret to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Anna would have forgotten that it was a secret in the first place.
Yeah.
And Mark might have forgotten that it was something that
not everybody already knew.
Not everybody already that he had to tell.
Accurate.
So then does Theo know? Johnny, what's your ruling?
What I think is Theo roll a read a bad situation.
That's a 5.
Oh no!
There goes the invisible family. Now back to your completely unrelated group of friends.
Okay. Yeah, Theo will head back inside.
But punchline. Invisible family drives away. The rest of you are now at the Clockwork Child, which is now well lit. Yano is dutifully going about and picking up all of the tipped over tables of books that happened with the tussle with Kid.
Theo will help him.
Okay. I'm just going to allow that to kind of happen, and you get things back in a way. I don't know what this means, but I feel like from the stress of it, Lincoln has now shifted into Ramsey. And it's like, that's not the wood. It's fine. It's fine. I'll fix it later. Okay.
Yeah, I think Anna's helping kind of straighten up. And it's like, no, that goes over there.
Can you? Okay. And then Ramsey will go over to wherever Kira is. Where is Kira?
I think she's kind of just like maybe looking at like the books on the wall. Kind of absent-mindedly, honestly.
Okay. Ramsey will sidle up next to you. Anything catching your eye?
I don't know. Just thinking about what to do next. Suddenly it seems achievable.
What does?
I don't know. Whatever we need to do to get the situation fixed with Vare, with Grey Hand. I think she kind of just like flexes her hand and is like, I've never had this much power before. Or I guess I have, but it's like practically itching to get out. I feel like I can do anything.
I will tell you that the first thing that comes to mind as you look at all these books is just how dry and flammable they all are.
Okay. I do seem to have turned a little bit into a pyromaniac, though, so that's a little concerning.
Is that worse than usual?
What are you trying to say?
That you're extremely reckless?
That's Anna.
No, it's not.
You disagree?
I've seen Anna dive in when she knows someone else is going to get hurt. I've seen you try to make sure that it's you that gets hurt.
Interesting observation. I think Kira kind of turns and looks at Anna, who's helping clean up or whatever. This job means a lot to her, you know.
It's not just the job. Ramsey also looks at Anna. She's doing something, you know? Learning about the place, herself.
Why'd you think I wanted to do the spell in the first place?
Oh, you mean her?
Yeah.
No, I get it. I'm glad you came to me with it.
Who else would I have gone to? Well, I know that there's no lack of people I'm sure that could do it, but I wouldn't trust them.
I just mean she's taken to it. The place. Not just the job.
Yeah. Kira just kind of like smiles watching Anna.
You couldn't have taught her to read a little bit before you sent her my way?
She's always been better at talking.
Okay.
Telling the stories, you know?
Guess you made it interesting for me.
She's doing a good job.
And how are you doing?
What do you mean?
You know what I mean.
Honestly, I mean, this is new. This, whatever this power is. But it also feels like mine, you know? It's like I'm growing into it. But it's still I still don't know anything about it.
Sure you do.
I'm learning. I just hope that, I think she kind of just like looks up like as if like, you know, ember in my head. She's like, I just hope that it works. We can get along. We can forge this connection more permanently. I'm worried what happens if it doesn't. The fact that the invisible family was here, as if I was a prisoner about to be taken away, but they didn't have the warrant yet. Doesn't exactly fill me with confidence, but I don't know. I'm feeling hopeful.
You know, this invisible family doesn't trust anybody except themselves.
Oh, I know. That Dad has made that abundantly clear. And her and I have connected more than I care to know.
I'm never going to get used to calling her that. I say give her a break. She's new yet. Then she'll, tap you on the shoulder a little bit and walk away.
All right. Well, Kira might turn and if the shop has kind of been getting cleaned up, she might turn to everybody else. Well, what next, guys? I think we've got a couple of things we can follow up on. The eye, for one. She kind of looks at Theo. And maybe talking with a certain somebody in the hallway. She looks at Anna. You want to go back there? Anna says. Really? We don't exactly have a lot of options. And the fact that the Greyhound has this deal locked in with you, our best chance of reversing it might be talking to whatever the hell is left of Craig.
Catrell, I think, for her part, is just sidling up kind of behind Mark as though everything is normal, but looking at him pretty constantly to, make sure he's okay with how close she is and, make sure he knows where she's standing at all times.
Theo be able to catch her eye?
Sure.
Theo's going to tap on her bracelet and then, nod towards Catrell.
Catrell will tap on her own bracelet and nod back at you.
Do I catch the fact that she's wearing Theo's bracelet?
Roll read about situation.
8.
You see them tap their bracelets. Yeah, you don't recognize what bracelet Catrell is wearing, but it's some kind of little inside joke between her and Theo.
So we have 2 tasks as a group to do. I kind of have a mini side quest of mine I need to do.
What's that? Kira asks.
Yano is staring at you with his arms crossed. Even though you're not looking at him, you can tell Theo.
I can just feel it. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's just something personal I gotta attend to.
You need to back up?
No.
Are you sure?
No. But I think it'd be better if I faced it alone. It's my own battle.
Catrell is going to cross the room to you, Theo, and put both of her hands around your bracelet, but you're not alone.
You're right. Yeah.
So let's go. Let's go solve your problem. Right, guys?
Wait, is Catrell saying that she's coming with?
I think she's implying that we should all come with.
She would like for everyone to come with you.
Because we don't do things alone, Theo and Nessos.
If you want people to not come with you, you are going to have to be quite a bit more specific about what you are doing and why it will be better that you don't have anyone with you.
I do think after Catrell says that, I think Anna will be like, kid's not wrong.
You got that right.
She takes one of her hands off of your bracelet to point at herself in the face and go, not wrong.
I'm gonna face my father.
Not that we don't think you can handle that yourself, but, that could be dangerous.
I probably should handle it by myself. Oh, I'll at least bring Yano.
You can face him yourself, but we're coming with you, Theo.
Standing in the room with me, or?
Maybe.
Whatever we need to do to keep you safe. You're going up against angry magic.
Whatever we can do to have your back.
Is worse than angry magic, and is better, is politics. How and with whom Sorella walks into her home will be spoken of for years.
Well, in the case of politics, what's gonna hold the most sway over them?
It's not a question of sway. It's a question of how you wish to be seen.
How do you wish to be seen, Theo?
Not alone.
Well, then I think you've got a couple of people that can back you up there.
Yeah.
I'll keep my presence semi-hidden. I assume he doesn't know yet.
That you're a prince of there?
Or that you're her boyfriend.
That's what I thought you were meaning. All right, well, either I guess I do it now, or if we have something we need to do, I'll sit in it anxiously.
I vote for now. Mark raises his hand. Anyone else?
I generally find action to be better than waiting.
We do have, world-ending problem that we're facing.
Well, this is your world for a second, Theo.
It's best not to go into battle whilst haunted.
This is true, says Anna.
Well, okay.
What I would really like to do is end this scene and cut to the group of you arriving not at the Nessos mansion, but a bit away to collect yourselves, connect, and talk about your approach. Because I do need you should know this.
Mm-hmm.
Because you would know this. The kind of conversation you are going to go in and try to have with your father is a move. That's how it will be seen by him, by your family, by the other families. People will spread information about how it went and what you did. Maybe not the details, maybe not all the things that you said, but the broad strokes of, and she came in XYZ. It will say things about you. And you know this. You've known it all your life. You've heard these stories about other people who have come to your father, who have come to your father alone and what that means, who've come to your father backed up by dozens and what that means.
I do feel like in preparation for this, could Anna maybe do one of her abjuration glyphs to help Theo out here?
You have the time, so yes.
What do you think? Something that would reduce, like if somebody were to like try to strike at you or whatever, something that would like reduce harm. Do you want to do like something that like they can't, like maybe something that we could do to like prevent them from using magic if activated?
I mean, I like the idea of a glyph or something like that gets activated upon magic or something like that.
Yeah, like I'm kind of thinking, because one of the things that she could do is stop something from using magic or disrupt another's use magic attempt. And so like if somebody were to try to use magic against Theo, like we have something that's stored up, like prepared to like block against that.
I want to though say that like on the way, because Theo would be riding in Yano's car and she would have texted Jacob and told him that I'm going to face Dad. And she would have texted her mom.
I need you to remind me, what was the last thing you heard from Jacob?
He and I had a text conversation. Like I had texted to see if he was okay. Theo's fine, but tired. Glad he's okay. Jacob wants to come back and pick up the pieces. I also wanted to say, Jonny, because I think that my mom had texted me to like not come home.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Theo's going to text her mom and tell her that I'm coming home. And if I remember correctly, I think one or both of the twins had texted me asking where I was. And Theo's going to text them and tell them, can you meet me outside?
One of the twins, and therefore both of the twins, will respond, how about in that place with that thing that time? Which you know from your misspent youth to basically mean like an area of the fence where some confluence of the trees and the fence.
Well, there is a particular tree that my mother really, really hates that's on the neighbor's yard that Theo has used to climb in and out of the family property unseen.
Yeah, and that's that place from that thing that time.
If it's possible, Jonny, could Anna take some time to like have a glyph that she could have on Theo, so that like if anybody tried to do like magic to harm her, it would activate to like basically like be like a counterspell type thing. So like it would disrupt what they're trying to do.
Most JRPGs that I play now have this thing that is a certain accessory that you can put on that will deflect a killing blow, but then be destroyed in the attempt. It's that. Someone attacks Theo, it will attack this thing instead, which will absorb and be destroyed by whatever they're trying to do. Whether the spell itself is destructive or not, this thing will absorb it and then pop out of existence.
Cool.
Okay, so you are parked a ways out. You're texting your family. You're solidifying things. Mark, would you roll plus sharp for me?
8.
Someone is walking briskly down the street, past all of your cars on the passenger side, headed towards Yano's truck.
Can I open telepathy?
Sure.
And have that connected to everybody? There's a guy going towards Yano's truck. I don't recognize this individual.
Not with an 8, not unless you do something else.
I think Mark is going to walk casually on the other side of the street and just make his way as if he's just passing by and trying to get a glimpse at this guy.
Roll act under pressure because you will have to step out of the car that you are in order to do that.
12.
Is there any way that's your advanced move, Mark?
Yes, it is.
So yeah, you flow out of this, out of the car you're in like smoke, and like sneak up, and as you're like catching glimpses of this person in between car and then in between the next car, you are now 100% aware and certain, based on his dorky little walk and his hip clothes, this is Jacob Nessos. And he stomps up to Yano's car and knocks on the front window.
Theo jumps out of her skin.
And then he holds up both his hands like, I don't have a gun.
Jacob?
And then he like makes the roll down the window motion with his hand.
Oh, Theo's gonna do one better and like throw open like the car door and like come round to him. What are you doing here? I thought you were you're supposed to go to Chicago.
Are you kidding me?
You're here.
Yeah, I'm here.
What? Why?
Because you're taking a chainsaw to the damn family tree. Something is happening.
Yeah.
I know there's a showdown coming, kid, and I'm not letting you do it alone.
Theo's gonna run into him and hug him.
Oh, whoa. All right. Okay. You can feel like a very unfamiliar hug move from him.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't exactly your relationship with him. He's been your distant older brother.
Yeah. But he showed up.
Yeah. Hey, I'm done running, okay?
I asked Kathleen and Katerina to meet me out front. Well, by the tree.
Oh God, you can still use that tree?
It's still there.
God bless this country's molasses slow legal system.
And the only person to ever stand up against our parents.
Who's that?
The neighbors.
Yeah, okay.
Because they will never cut down this tree. Even though the leaves and the fruits on this tree fall into our yard.
Sort of imagine like the rest of us are kind of like approaching the car and like
just creeping.
Just kind of like standing there like,
oh, okay.
Hi.
Okay, so we're hugging the attacker guy now. Oh,
okay.
It's you.
Oh, it's Jacob. I don't know how I feel about
It's
Jacob,
just
but
Jacob.
he's here. Okay.
Theo's gonna like kind of shake out of it and like turn to everybody else. I told Jacob what happened to our sister, and I'm gonna tell Kathleen and Katerina as well.
Okay.
All right.
I was gonna say, I think Anna kind of crosses her arms, like, good to see you again, Jacob, with just a little bristliness.
So you scowls just like confusedly, looks away and looks back like, what? Fine, jeez.
Don't forget what you did to my sister last time.
Yeah.
Who is all here?
It's you four and then like 9 people.
Yeah, for sure. All of the hunters, Yano, Jacob, probably Lowry and Catrail and Tommy.
Donovan.
Ramsey stayed back to fix the shop.
The only person that Theo is uneasy about is Donovan, but at the same hand, having him amongst the crew isn't a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. I guess it depends on what kind of display you want to make.
Let's go meet the twins.
Yeah, they need to know. Theo will lead the group to the tree.
I see Theo walking a step or two ahead of everybody. And I think most specifically, I see her flanked by Kira on one side and Mark on the other.
And Anna behind her.
Mm-hmm.
Then everybody else is coming, giving the house a very wide berth so as not to be seen, and sneaking into the they don't even know it, but legendarily stubborn neighbors. For sure, Theo and Jacob will have to climb over the fence. Everyone else, not necessarily. You can make the plan from there.
Yeah, I want to talk to our sisters first.
Okay.
Before bombarding them with an army.
So the two of you shimmy up this drooping tree, get to the other side of the fence, and then drop down into a sort of copse of it's like bushes and like a berm. It's like a whole sort of garden feature that this corner of the property is not meant to be walked upon.
Yeah, my mother loves her greenery.
And then coming out of the hedges are Kathleen and Katerina. And I think they both see at exactly the same time Jacob. And they both say at exactly the same time, Jacob. And they both they don't run to hug him, but they do run to poke him needlingly. Is it an astral form? Is he really here? Is he just projecting? Oh, he deigns just to set foot on the family property. Have you remembered you're in Nessos now? It starts with an N. It's not Nash. We know what you're doing. Don't you have clients in Chicago? What are they gonna do? This is not the time. I'm here. Okay? Okay. So Theora, what are you, and Katerina finishes the sentence, going to do?
I'm gonna talk to Father.
Tell him off. Tell him where to shove it. Tell him that it's over. Tell him who you are.
Maybe a little bit more eloquently. I found out some stuff and did some things you probably recognized or felt.
To the Magica.
Do you two know how Selena had died?
On a job.
Do you know where Magica comes from? How it's created?
They look at each other and they look back at you. Not strictly. We have our theories.
Does your theories involve dead people? Spirits? Maggio spirits?
Maggio specifically.
I mean, they can use any spirits, but
There's something in our cells that,
Maggio is stronger.
as it returns to the earth and sort of evaporates back into the air. This is what you said. Yeah, I know.
When you trap a spirit here, you can turn them into dead life. When they're dead life, you can turn them into Magica. I suspect that Maggio members maybe have a stronger spirit.
Katerina will just sort of squeak out, but dead life is a blasphemy.
I mean, the first rule is the best way to protect the Magica.
No, the first rule is we don't contact the...
I tried finding Selena, and I couldn't find her. I couldn't find her because...
Because she's not there. Someone else walks out of the hedge.
Who is it?
Mm-mm.
It's Deacon.
Everyone's in the hedge.
Homer, are you there too?
He moves back with beer.
He's wearing his like long dark gray cargo pants and his tight like tactical Henley that's a deep gray. He's gonna walk out into this sort of not quite a clearing, and yeah, Jacob is going to lean into your ear, Theo, and be like, Theo, why is your older brother your younger brother now?
I saved him?
Okay, so who's gonna save us?
Well, we don't need saving if we're together.
Deacon has his eyes just like laser focused on you, Theo, and not interested in any of the rest of this conversation. And is like, so you're gonna face him
Yeah.
and you're gonna stop it.
Theo's gonna nod. Are you gonna stop me?
Are you gonna be able to do it?
How close are we to this
You're on like the other side of the wall.
other side of the wall? I'm like, Anna is so bad. So badly trying to be like, Jousty woo, but she like stops herself.
I imagine that Anna's like trying to jump, but Lowry keeps like holding her down.
Can you just fly me up? Just fly me up just for 2 seconds. Just for 2 seconds, fly me up there.
Just do it. Just do
I
it.
swear to God, once I get up there.
I'll show these Nessos who we mean business.
If I can face the first Bennett, I can face our father.
There she is. Deacon smiles like a crack in a mirror.
Theo's gonna fucking roll her eyes. You were the most annoying brother.
I was the one who paid attention.
Funny way of showing it.
Well, here we are. You're the one who's seen it. You're the one who's done it. So it's your plan to make. And the twins both turn on Deacon and are like, what? No, come on. We know way more stuff about everything. She's barely even read. Like, no. Did you kill Bennett the first?
Well, I brought a little bit of backup.
Hi. From beside the fence.
That feels like a nice button. So who's coming with you? So now you have, in addition to your obscene cadre, Kathleen, Katerina, Jacob, Deacon, Larry, Donovan, Tommy, Ketchel, Yano, Mark, Kira, and Anna. So to make this a little bit more of a multiple choice thing, you are now at a position where you could regroup and go in through the front gates in some way. You are also in a position where you could sneak in and have your sort of chosen group ambush, so to speak. More like a corporate ambush. Not like to sneak up and stab behind, stab in the back, but to sneak up and stab in the back metaphorically. That's the first thing. What's your physical, literal approach going to be? The second thing is, what size of group do you want to go in with? Alone? A small tactical crew, 2 to 4 people, or show of force? 3 questions. Physical approach. Go.
I want like all the siblings to go in together.
Only all the siblings?
I think so. I think I want the rest. I mean, maybe Yano, but like I do want the rest to be like backup.
For sure, everybody's going to be in the wings. Like, everybody could wait here and be reasonably safe.
Can I ask Deacon and maybe like Kathleen and Katerina, do you know what Bennett is?
Oh, your brother?
Yeah.
Deacon will go, little captain has been following his little marching orders.
What are his orders?
He's taking phone calls, says Kathleen.
But is he with Dad or no?
That would be inefficient. A lot of people want to know what's going on. Our brother is giving them the family line.
What is he saying? They don't know?
Roll manipulate someone.
13. Advanced move.
What they are saying is that this is a temporary result of Mars having slipped in to the House of Aries, which, as a sort of lexical frisson, is causing all kinds of magic to be disrupted. It's just the spheres in the houses you understand. Give it time and it will pass.
I think what I kind of sort of want to do, if the siblings could find Bennett, our brother, and confront him, get him on our side.
You want them to do that?
Well, no, us, like...
Oh, I see. The siblings, including thy.
Including Theo. When the big show is going to happen, I think I want Theo and her siblings, Yano and Mark, and Anna and Kira. And then I think the rest of the crew...
Waiting in the wings, kind of.
I don't know, in Theo's room or outside the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I think that Theo, though, is going to direct this at Anna and Kira and Mark.
So to set the stage for this interaction just a bit, because it pleases me, I think he'll do it without you asking him to. Deacon, as you like turn back and you're like trying to figure out how to get back over the fence, because the tree technically is more of a into the fence move.
I mean, personally, I've done it before. I've used my wind magic to just like hop up over the fence, but continue.
Well, Deacon's going to pick you up and then hoist you so that you're standing on his shoulders.
Okay.
And then you can see sort of chin over the wall to the rest of your friends.
Okay.
It seems nice, but it's not. It's actually still more symptoms of the same problem, but we'll deal with that in a minute.
I'd appreciate it if Yano and Anna and Kira and Mark could come with us, and then the rest of you just waiting as backup.
I think Anna and Kira both kind of just look around at the rest of the group and kind of nod.
Of course.
Yeah.
Catrell nods eagerly. She would love to be left out of anything.
I just ask that you let me and my siblings do the talking. And I let you mean well, but it needs to come from us.
I won't speak unless spoken to. You have my word.
Theo's eyes narrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Anna like closes their eyes and is like, okay, I promise I won't say anything.
If anything, you guys are our defense. Just keep an eye out, like monitor like other things. Just, you're my second eyes.
Okay.
Okay, get over here.
Kira just jumps over with her wings.
I think the Nessos kids, I want you guys to go try to find Bennett. Deegan knows with 100% certainty where he would be, which would be his office, which is on sort of this around. You can kind of sneak over, and I'm not going to bother making you roll, but you can like, his office would be on the sort of second story of this side of the mansion. That's where the window would be.
Deacon.
What are you thinking?
Maybe toss some rocks at his window. That'll piss him off.
Roll manipulate someone.
12.
Big or little? Do you want me to get his attention, or do you want me to piss him off?
Get his attention to come out here, but the rest of us will hide underneath. I don't want him to see that I'm here.
Buzzkill. Okay. And then he'll go fishing around for sort of small rocks and like chunks of mulch. I'll start just tossing them at the office window. Yeah, you know what? All you can see is Deacon tossing these things at the window because you're all otherwise hiding against the wall. At one point, he stops tossing them, and you can see he sees somebody, and he's like gesturing open the window, and he throws his arms out like, no, see? Just me. And then he picks up another bigger chunk of mulch, and he's like, fuck off. And then he looks at you, and he's like, the gesture of his thumb and pinky finger like he's on the phone.
Theo's going to hand him a big rock.
He's going to pop his eyebrows at you. Reel back like an all-star pitcher. You can sense this rock cutting through the air, and then
Yikes.
And then you can also hear the phone slam down and ring, and then him cursing in Greek up to the window, just, "You Malak idiot! What are you doing? Don't you know we are on the razor's edge here? Hey man, I needed to talk to you. What could possibly be more important than what is happening? All of this. Why are you 22? You're doing the devil's work, brother."
To Deacon, Theo whispers, like, "Get him down here. Tell him you know where I am."
"I know where to find our most wanted little sister, traitoress. Tell me, where?" You gotta fight me for it.
Edgelord.
Why do you look 20 and act like you are 10? Childish boy. Oh, I'm childish, am I? Why don't you come on down here and give me a spanking? Unless you're gonna be a little baby about it. I am this family's heir. You are daddy's little boy, aren't you? Now tell me, are you taking the calls that he's too busy for? Or are you just taking the calls that, like, you don't have to escalate to your supervisor? You hear a stump, 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 soar, and land. Bennett the Seventh lands heavily right in front of Deacon and then stands himself up. And he does stand, I think, even as he did when Deacon was his normal age, head and shoulders above his brother.
Deacon does?
Bennett does. So he looks about as haggard as he allows himself to look. He has his very trim-tailored dress pants. His shoes are insane. They reflect all light. And then he's just wearing like kind of a dull gray button down. The sleeves are pushed up well above his elbows. Normally, immaculate hair is kind of wild. But then, yeah, he has his full beard that he always has that is itself slightly unkempt, but only slightly. And he like stalks over to Deacon and is like, "A fight for information again? We will see if this goes the same way it always has." And Deacon goes, "Actually, Uncle, I'll just give it to you." And then he points with both fingers behind Bennett towards you. And Bennett turns over his shoulder and locks eyes with you. And his fury at Deacon turns into fury at you. What have you done? Executive producer Jonny Grubb. This has been The Monsters Playbook, featuring
Detjen-Wander as Mark Clayton.
Lauren Johnson as Anna and Kira Ashwood.
Miah Detjen-Wander as Theo Nessos.
and Jonny Grubb as literally everybody else. The Monsters Playbook is produced and engineered by Miah Detjen-Wander and edited by Miah Detjen-Wander and Lauren Johnson. Our theme song is by me, Jonny Grubb. If you liked this episode, please tell a friend. We love friends. And if you just can't get enough of the Monsters Playbook, join us on Patreon. We have bonus episodes, exclusive merch, and patron-only mini-series and side stories. Or join us on Discord, where we pretty much just hang out. We're also on social media, obviously, so you can get updates on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and Blue Sky. We'll see you next episode where, as always, I'll have some good news and some bad news. Thanks for listening.
Question: is it Catriel or Catrell?
Catrell.
It's Catrell, but she will answer and has been answering to Catriel.
It's you have never said, you've always said it as Catriel, and it's like, that's just how Mark says her name.
Catriel.
It's endearing.
I like the implication that Mark kind of thinks she's an angel.
Oh.